Hello, my name is Angela Bryant. I am one of the co-founders of Visions from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and I would like to tell you a little bit about the history of Visions and what about that history is unique from my perspective. Well, the exciting thing to me about the history of Visions is that it came from the lived experience of adolescents in eastern North Carolina in our hometown of Rocky Mount. We learn a lot of what we know about addressing cultural differences, in particular racial differences, through our experience in integrating the public schools in Rocky Mount, North Carolina in the South. And that was for the three African American women who were founders of Visions. Now, Visions was also founded by a Jewish male with a combination of a background from the Northeast and Florida. And of course, his history coming into these issues would be different. But for us, we cut our teeth on this as teenagers, adolescents and teenagers integrating the public schools. And I think it's really important that a lot of what we share with others about what's possible across differences comes from our lived experience, not just what we've gotten trained to do or learned to do or read in books in our adult lives, but from a child's heart, as the Stevie Wonder song would say. In addition to that, we then took our adolescent experiences from the early 60s, particularly 1963. I think it's unique that we saw the integration from three different perspectives. One was that I was one of the few black children integrating the predominantly white schools in my town. Meanwhile, Valerie Batts, our executive director, was one of the black students who stayed in the segregated schools, but was a part of the forced desegregation of the separate schools after the period during which I participated in the voluntary integration of schools. So she was there when the white students and the black students came together on a more equitable basis in some respect to negotiate out how they would, in essence, eliminate the historically black school and move into a new, then desegregated school that included the black and white students in the high school. And the chair of our board, Louise Weeks Coggins, was one of the white students who was involved in that process in our community. And of course, that process brought us all together in terms of a relationship that we probably wouldn't have had if it were not for the integration of schools. And we all went on to go to the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill and continue those same processes of being often the first of a few African Americans in the university, in our various classes, and then in our professional and educational careers in graduate school, in my case law school, in Valerie's case graduate school in psychology, and then into our professional jobs. And we started Visions to support ourselves and our colleagues, all of whom in the late 70s were going into our professional jobs as one of the few women or blacks or Jews in our particular positions and levels in our jobs, and needing to have a way to support ourselves and each other in being successful in those environments, and bringing on the second wave of people of color and women and people of other cultural backgrounds into those workplaces. And so that is to me one of some of the unique aspects of the history of Visions. We founded it out of our own necessity, and then it became a business.